Welcome back, Reds. Wherever you're watching from around the world, this is United Top News. And today, we are talking about something that has split opinion inside the Manchester United fan base. Because sometimes in football, it's not just about who you sign, it's also about who you don't play. And right now, one decision is coming back to haunt a former Manchester United manager, Ruben Amorim. Over a month since his sacking from Manchester United, the criticism hasn't stopped. In fact, it's getting louder. Because while Amorim is watching from the outside, something very interesting is happening inside Old Trafford. Kobbie MAINOO is back, and not just back, flourishing. Ruben Amorim has been torn apart after what many are now calling a mind-blowing decision during his time at Manchester United. The decision? Demoting Kobbie MAINOO. Yes, the Kobbie MAINOO that we all know. One of the brightest young talents in world football. A player many fans believe represents the future of Manchester United. Under Amorim this season, MAINOO played just 238 minutes of league football. 228 minutes. For a player of his quality. For a player with his composure. For a player who has already shown he can control games at the highest level. And that decision is now under the microscope. Since the interim appointment of Michael CARRICK last month, everything feels different. CARRICK, 44 years old, former Manchester United midfielder, former England international, a man who understands what this badge means. Since taking charge following Amorim's sacking, CARRICK has led the side to 4 wins in his first 5 games. 4 wins. And suddenly, Old Trafford feels alive again. But here's the key detail. One of CARRICK's first big calls, he pulled Kobbie MAINOO straight back into the starting lineup. Back where many fans believed he should have been all along. MAINOO earned his first league start of the campaign in January against Manchester City. And what did he do? He didn't hide. He didn't look rusty. He didn't look like a player who had barely featured. He looked like one of the best players on the pitch. Calm on the ball. Confident under pressure. Running the game. And suddenly, the question became unavoidable. Why wasn't he playing before? The confusion that it wasn't just social media noise. It wasn't just frustration. Former players and pundits began speaking out. And one voice in particular did not hold back. Owen Hargreaves. He described the situation as mind-blowing. Mind-blowing that Kobbie MAINOO had barely played for a year. Hargreaves pointed out something simple but powerful. He said CARRICK has changed the whole team. Put players back in their natural positions. Let Bruno Fernandes play as a number 10. Let him create. It's not rocket science, he said. And then came the line that hit hardest. How Kobbie MAINOO hasn't played football for a year is mind-blowing. One of the best young talents in the world, sitting on the bench, while the team struggled. That's a tough accusation. And then Joe Cole stepped in, echoing Hargreaves, backing CARRICK, but also delivering another blow to Amorim. Cole described CARRICK as elegant, but ruthless. Carlos Baleba, Brighton's powerful young midfielder. Last summer, Manchester United were heavily linked. Reports suggested personal terms had been agreed. Think about that. Personal terms. Which means conversations happened. Which means intention was serious. But Brighton stood firm. A valuation around 100 million euros. And United stepped away. They didn't overpay. They didn't force it. They walked. And sometimes walking away tells you more about a club's direction than completing a deal. But now Baleba has spoken, and his words are revealing. He admitted the speculation affected him. He said he feels more relaxed now. He said the outside noise, he didn't understand it. Imagine being 22 years old, linked with Manchester United. Every headline analyzing your future. every performance dissected through the lens of a transfer. That pressure changes players. He avoided websites, focused on himself, focused on his teammates, focused on regaining control. Brighton have struggled this season, sitting 14th, only 7 points above the relegation zone. Only 7 points above the relegation zone. Only 7 points above the relegation zone. It hasn't been smooth. But despite that, Baleba has featured in almost every Premier League match, excluding his time representing Cameroon at the Africa Cup of Nations. And now, the transfer windows are closed. The noise has quieted. Casemiro is confirmed to be leaving this summer. And suddenly, the midfield conversation returns. Because when a door closes at Old Trafford, another opens. Today we are diving into a story that feels bigger than just a transfer. It's about identity. It's about timing. It's about politics. And it's about a date that could quietly decide the future of Marcus Rashford. Because sometimes in football, it's not the goals that decide your destiny. It's the decisions made behind the closed doors. So picture this. Sunday afternoon, March 15. The Premier League is in full flow. The cameras are on Old Trafford. Manchester United take on Aston Villa in what could be a decisive clash in the race for the Champions League. But hundreds of miles away, in Castelldefels, that peaceful coastal town just south of Barcelona, Marcus Rashford might be watching. Not as a United player, not as a Barcelona hero, but as a man waiting for clarity, waiting for direction, waiting for something bigger than a football match. Because while United and Villa battle it out in England, something even more important is happening in Catalonia. Across Barcelona, more than 140,000 club members, the socials, will be heading to the polls. They're not voting for a striker, they're not voting for a manager, they are voting for a president. And that decision could define Marcus Rashford's future. Juan Laporta has stepped down to trigger the election process, as club regulations require. A management commission is now temporarily running the club. Campaigns are underway. Speeches are being made. Alliances are forming. And suddenly, Rashford's situation is no longer just about football. It's about politics. Laporta is facing serious challenges. Victor Font, Marc Syria, Xavier Villanueva. Each candidate must secure 2,321 signatures to even appear on the ballot. But here's where it gets interesting. The biggest dividing line between the projects isn't a player, it's Deco. As journalist Jody Carn explains, the main difference between Victor Font and Laporta is the sports director position. Font doesn't want Deco, but Laporta does. And with Deco in place, Rashford's future feels clearer. Without him, things could change. That's how fragile the situation is. One election, one executive decision, one sporting director, and suddenly a €30 million transfer hangs in the balance. Now let's talk about football. Because politics aside, Rashford has delivered. 10 goals, 13 assists in 34 appearances, even while dealing with a minor knee issue. Under Hansi Flick, he has rediscovered rhythm, confidence, sharpness. Adapting to Barcelona's philosophy isn't easy, especially for a Premier League player. The movement is different, the tempo is different, the positional discipline is different. But Rashford has embraced it. And Flick is reportedly very happy. There is no doubt about that. Under the loan agreement between Barcelona and Manchester United, the deal is simple. €30 million. Trigger the clause. Make it permanent. But reports in Spain suggest Barcelona would like to renegotiate. Perhaps lower the fee. Perhaps use Rashford's desire to stay as leverage. Manchester United, they're not budging. The price is the price. The agreement was made. And from United's side, The situation remains exactly as it was last summer. No discounts, no reopening talks, no emotional decisions. There were whispers, rumors suggesting that if Michael Carrick remains head coach, he might welcome Rashford back. But inside Old Trafford, those suggestions are reportedly being dismissed. First of all, no final decision has been made about who will manage next season. Second, if Barcelona trigger the clause, it won't matter anyway. And third, Rashford's chapter at United may already feel complete. His last appearance came in a Europa League win against Victoria Pilsen. Since then, silence. And sometimes in football, silence says everything.